Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news discussion because things happen and we like to talk about them.
Feels like more and more things are happening every week.
It does, it's a bizarrely busy time for news and TV, and most of it's just the announcement of new shows in development, which is, to be fair, the most interesting news we get, but there's a couple of things before that, and like I did last week, I've got all the comedy shows announcements before all the drama ones. So bit of structure, but pretty much there's just a lot of them. So let's get into it. So before we get to the new show announcements, the first thing up. Do you remember last week? This did not take long, by the way. But you remember last week I told you about a new comedy that was coming from NBC.
Which one was this? You told me a lot of things last week.
This was a mail order family.
Oh, I definitely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the one about the husband widower who orders a bride from the Philippines to raise his two young daughters. Loosely based on the writer's family life.
The one that sounded like massive caricatures and probably offensive.
Yeah, that one. Well, about 3 days after the announcement that it was happening, NBC announced that they're not moving forward with it. After there was a lot of controversy, there was a petition online that got to like 10,000 signatures very quickly. A lot of hubbub, and quite rightly so, to be honest. I can't imagine this show not being offensive.
It is hard to think how it wouldn't be.
Yeah, so it's not happening. They killed that very quickly. So just a quick follow up on last week's thing. The other thing that's not a show is a bit of casting. Now, admittedly, the casting itself isn't that interesting because I don't know who this actor is. In fact, the news even says he's a newcomer. Cameron Cuff has been cast in Krypton, which is the Superman prequel show coming from Sci-Fi, probably sometime next year. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because they mentioned what characters he's playing. Now, we knew it was going to be the ancestor of Superman. It was going to be the grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what they said at first. In this story, it just says ancestor. So I don't know if they've changed their minds and they're going further back than they were before. But he's called Segel. That's
Okay.
SEG-EL. Segel.
Right. Okay.
Am I the only one who thinks this is a stupid name?
No. No, you're not. That is not great sounding.
Yeah. Dear. Yeah, he's destined to be the ancestor of Jor-El, the future father of Superman, and Kal-El, the future Superman. That was too much. Why would they put both of that? Yeah, the first part of that sentence was more than adequate to...
One or the other.
Yeah.
You go ancestor of Jor-El or ancestor of Kal-El. You don't need to do both.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Segel is the scion of the once prosperous El family and is blessed with an intuitive brilliance for all things technical. He is now living in Krypton's lowest caste after his family was stripped of its rank. So it's about him building up the family's name again by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Sound pretty much. I still don't know if I care.
It'd be nice if it surprises us, if it ends up
It
being
is, I've always said the Krypton stuff is my favourite part of that film, given barring a couple of other scenes.
I don't even think it'll be related to that movie.
I mean, it was before.
I know it was before, but I feel like the further we get along, because this has like been a year and a half of development we've had in this already. I feel like the further we get along, the more they want to just go, you know what, clean slate, its own thing.
Yeah, it probably will be.
Hell,
We'll see when we get the design of Krypton, though, won't we?
There's more of a chance it'll end up tying into Supergirl than of it tying into Man of Steel.
That's true. I can see them trying to work something out.
Yeah, not that there'd be a crossover. There couldn't be. I mean, it's
but just set it up. Be easy enough, wouldn't
make Krypton look the same. Basically, would be the just.
It just depends which version of Krypton they are, because obviously they're very different aesthetically.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling Supergirl's is a lot cheaper to do than the one from Man of Steel.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, just a feeling.
But they did play with it like just to fair to them. Man of Steel's Krypton is very different, with all like the Codex stuff and all that. So if they're playing it with that stuff, probably gives them maybe a bit more interesting things to do with ideas.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's move on to some new shows, shall we? So, like I said, comedies first. Mad Love creator Matt Tarses is back at CBS. He's got a new comedy show in the work. At first, I didn't think this was the whole title. I read this and assumed that the second half was the title, and that the first half was the creator. But then I went back and went, no, it's from this Matt fellow. So the full title of this show is Hannah Royce's Questionable Choices.
Okay. I like a bit of rhyming.
It's rhyming, yes. It's a single camera comedy, and it's about a woman who has made some interesting choices throughout her life, namely having 3 different kids with 3 different men, but all having her led to a very unique, loving, and this is the word they're using, blended family.
Oh dear.
It honestly sounds quite generic, just with the fact that it's kids from different fathers, but
It does, doesn't it?
I have no feeling one way or the other if this will be good. Actually, no, I tell a lie. I do have a feeling if it'll be good or not, because it's from CBS, but that's the only reason why I have an inkling.
Yeah, but they've been alright with some comedies, so...
When was the last comedy you enjoyed on CBS?
Did they not do Life in Pieces?
I don't know, I never watched that one.
Sure that was them. Sure it was.
Yeah, but they also do Two Broke Girls, and I think they did Two and a Half Men, and various
How I
other...
Met Your Mother?
They did do that, but...
Yeah, I did like that a lot, so, you know.
See, my opinion on that's not that high, so...
Yeah, mine is.
But you are ginger, so...
That is a fair point.
It's a factor. And there was a ginger in that show, so that clearly you're just...
It's favoritism, isn't it?
Yeah, just favoritism. That's all it is. Alright, Fox have got a comedy pilot that they've given a script commitment to. It's called Type A. It's a single camera workplace comedy from the Life in Pieces duo of executive producer Jason Weiner and writer-producer Leslie Wake Webster. Now, Type A is about a group of people handpicked to do a job that most of us couldn't handle. They are achievers, alphas, but most importantly, assholes. That's the entire description.
I'm so in. This is a comedy about awful people. My favourite type.
Yeah, this one sounds a lot more promising. I am definitely more with you for that.
Yeah.
Now, the next one we've got here is from Mindy Kaling, who of course does the Mindy Project. And she is going to be... I don't think she's starring in this. I think she's writing and producing this. But it's a single camera comedy. It's currently untitled. But it's a sibling focus. There's Connor sneezing all over the place. But it centers on a charismatic gym owner with no ambition and lives with his younger brother, a gorgeous idiot. Their simple life of women and working out is put on hold when they have to take in the older brother's son, whom they've never met. So again, dysfunctional family, pair of brothers, all of a sudden there's a kid involved. In fact, it sounds a lot like Two and a Half Men now.
It does, doesn't it?
Now that we're talking about it. The only difference being is that they own a gym, and that's it.
I quite like Mindy Kaling, so, you know.
That's true. No, like, as much as I'm saying it sounds like Two and a Half Men, that really means nothing when it's just the premise.
Yeah.
Like Two and a Half Men, you could take that same premise, put it in a different writer's hands, and it could be gold.
Yeah, it could.
So
there's nothing wrong with the inherent premise of it.
So that's Fox. That's is it Fox? No, it's NBC. Sorry, NBC. Oh. Fox was the previous one.
Fox, yeah.
Type A was Fox. That's NBC. So yeah, so that's CBS, NBC, and Fox all working on some sitcoms for presumably next season, I'd imagine. Alright, that's all of the half-hour comedies. Let's get into the barrage of hour-long dramas.
Let's do this.
These are, of course, by nature a lot more interesting because they tend to have a lot more premise involved.
Tend to, not always.
First up, we're starting with a reboot.
Oh, another one.
Another one, yeah. It's not a week on almost cancelled news without a reboot to talk about.
It's really not.
But here's one that neither of us, I think, will have any connection to. Even though I've never seen Magnum P.I., when we talked about Magnum P.I., I know what Magnum P.I. looks like. I know Tom Selleck. I know what the show was about.
it has a reputation.
The CW is developing a reboot of Dynasty.
Eh.
Or Dynasty, depending on how you like to pronounce the word.
I don't care either way.
I'm more of a Dynasty pronouncer, but, I can see the merit in both. The news show will be told primarily through the perspectives of two female characters locked in conflict. Fallon Carrington.
What a name.
Fallon, and it's a female as well. I'd assumed that was a male name, but fair enough. Fallon Carrington, daughter of billionaire Blake Carrington, and her soon-to-be stepmother Crystal, a Hispanic woman marrying into the Wasp family and America's most powerful class.
You can tell they're rich with names like that.
Carrington and Blake and Fallon.
Fallon Carrington. That has to be a rich person's name, surely.
And Wasp is capitalised. I'm assuming that's like the company that the family owns.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, because the name's Carrington. It's not Wasp.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm assuming that's what's made them rich, but I could be wrong. Obviously I never watched Dynasty, so
Me either.
I can't comment on the reboot potential of this. It's funny it's on CW though. I can see it's been just like a younger, hipper version with 20-somethings.
That's what I was thinking when I think CW. But obviously we had one last week or the week before that sounded very un-CW as well. So maybe they're branching out a bit.
That was assuming they stuck to the World War One or World War Two premise of the original story in that one.
Well, yeah, but still,
I'm still calling it's going to be no. They're all 22 and it's present day.
it's very possible.
That's what I'm thinking. You know what? I'm cracking these jokes. I probably watch more shows on CW than I do any other main network.
You probably watch more on a week-to-week basis. You probably watch more on CW than you do on everything else put together, or at least equal to.
Once all the superhero shows start, that's probably accurate, especially since we're sticking with No Tomorrow. Not No Tomorrow, sorry.
Frequency.
No, we're not. Frequency. We're sticking with Frequency for a while, so that's now
That's five.
That's 5 CW shows a week at the moment. Jeez. And we're going to be trying
Riverdale.
Riverdale, thank you. I was about to say Riverwood. That's not the title. I'm really out of it tonight. I don't know. Like, apologies, people.
What is going on with you here?
Yeah, I don't know. Dynasty.
Well, that one I'll let you slide. But
Dynasty Warriors. There you go. That's
great reference.
It's a video game.
What's the next show? Come on.
Flight Risk, which is an NBC pilot commitment about a woman on the run. It's a thriller, and here's your fairly lengthy synopsis for this one. Actually, Flight Risk centers on Maddie Silva. What's with these names? Like seriously, they're going.
I think what it is they think if it's a weird name, it's more memorable. Because to be fair, I still remember Fallon Carrington a whole 3 minutes later.
Well,
which is more than I can say for most of these.
Yeah, I feel like they just really they don't want to just have John Smith or Jane Smith. It has to be something really wacky. So Maddie Silva.
Is that just Mari?
No, Maddie. Maddie.
Oh, that's not that weird.
No, Maddie on its own is not weird, but Maddie Silva.
It's a bit odd.
Anyway, she's popular, funny, and brilliant in a courtroom. Her take-no-mercy approach towards the criminal she prosecutes has earned her the nickname The Shark. But when she loses her temper in a divorce mediation, comically threatening to have her soon-to-be ex-husband killed, and he turns up dead the next day, she has to go on the run and turn to a criminal that she has been prosecuting to help her clear her name. Maddie's humanity and sense of humour remain intact as she is forced to compromise every moral she has and question everything she's ever thought she knew.
Well, that is not what I was expecting.
I know. I started off with she's like a shark in the courtroom. You're like, oh, it's just a legal drama.
Because I'd forgotten the title at that point.
Yeah, and then we get to she. Well, what gets me more than anything, it's like I completely get the whole threatening to kill her husband while being getting divorced.
It's where it says comically.
Yeah. He turns up dead. She has to go on the run. Right, all that I get, but this is clearly showing us that she's going to be funny as she's doing all this.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, makes this far more interesting without it than without it.
Yeah, without that, it's just generic.
It is, but
It's just generic thriller territory.
but the idea that this is like a, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a actress or a character that, like, I don't know, Leslie Knope or like like someone like that in this otherwise serious, like,
Throw in like Kimmy Schmidt. Like that sort of thing. Just play it up.
sure,
Go
sure,
ridiculous.
Kimmy Schmidt, why not? But yeah, you know, potential, potential, and
Yeah, it's not awful.
Alright, so let's move on to the next thing. I'm just making sure my TV doesn't turn off because it's got an automatic timer on it, and it was threatening there to turn off mid recording.
TVs.
I know, it's got a mind of its own. All right, so we're sticking with NBC. They've got another show. Oh, this is another doozy. Oh, just wait for this. This is a haunted house procedural drama.
Wait, hang on. Just let that sink in for a second.
Haunted house procedural drama.
I have a question before you go any further. Is this one haunted house and it's a procedural, like, there's a different thing in it each week? Is it like a massive mansion, or is it a team that goes to different haunted houses?
Now, I think procedural might be slightly wrong, at least from in the way that we use the word procedural, because the synopsis makes it sound more serialized, but I'll get to that. The writers of the fifth Paranormal Activity movie are the ones who have created this. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, like, you know, doing a sequel, getting hired for a sequel to a franchise, especially when it's 4 movies in, is a little bit different than developing something from scratch. They could, for all we know, be great at this.
They could, but it lowers my expectations a touch, given the amazing premise thing that it was.
Well, it's called The Eight, and it's based on a short story called The House on Ashley Avenue by Ian Rogers. It is set inside the high-risk claims department of an AIG-like insurance company, a small secret unit that specialises in insuring haunted houses. After the death of the company's enigmatic founder, the department is forced into a high-stakes race to find the Eight, a mysterious group of properties hidden across North America, connected by a terrifying and powerful force.
This sounds phenomenal. I'm so in. Other than who it's from, this sounds amazing.
It's an insurance company that specialises.
They have a secret department that specialises in insuring haunted houses. That's amazing.
Now, because of whatever risk they're in, because their founder's dead, they have to find these famous 8 houses, which is why it doesn't sound like a procedural to me.
It doesn't.
I mean, I guess they could be looking for them and they go to like false, like positives for a few episodes,
but there's a clear end game and target for the whole thing.
Also, I'm not sure what a season 2 would be, because presumably at the end of the season,
the 8, yeah.
would it be called the 9? Like, would it? I don't know.
Guess we'll find out if it ever gets that far.
True. Certainly, I'm down to try it.
Or the real thing is they only find one of the 8 per season.
It's an 8-season plan. Aye,
yeah,
that's what it is. Oh dear. All right, so that's the 8. Interesting. I'll say that much. All right, next up, CBS is developing a adaptation of a book that's called A Burglar's Guide to the City, and this is a drama that's got a pilot commitment. It's got a bunch of people producing it. A couple of them notable. Alex Kurtzman's producing it. He, of course, produced the new Star Trek movies. He's done a bunch of other stuff. But it's Burglar's Guide to the City, and it follows a team of modern-day Robin Hoods led by a brilliant architect with a troubled past that uses their unique skills to gain access into any stronghold in order to steal from rich criminals and give to those that have been wronged by the corrupt system.
So it's a heist show.
Yeah, it's a heist show.
That could be fun.
It could be fun. Yeah.
It might not be, but I'm down for seeing heists on a weekly basis.
It's not bad. It's an okay idea as shows go, especially since you can do that without a super budget. You can, all you need is a building.
Yeah.
And
get inventive with it. It could be fun.
Yeah, could be. So there you go. That's a Burglar's Guide to the City. Now, next up, we have another adaptation. Charlene Harris's book, Red Lines, is going to be adapted. This is from HBO.
Ooh.
Is it from HBO? I may have misread that. Hold on. Let me go in. I need to go in and inspect for more details. I actually don't think it has a network yet. There's a reason
So
why.
you just pulled HBO out your ass.
No. Charlene Harris wrote True Blood, which became a HBO show, and it says
okay.
HBO in the paragraph. My eyes just went for the acronym. My eyes just sort of jumped for it.
Look for the 3 letters.
Yeah, and obviously this time it's backfired, so apologies. But anyway, it's called Redliners, and it's in the tone of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Redliners mixes humour, romance, and espionage. It follows a pair of former spies living in suburbia who are reactivated when a failed hit on one of them leaves the assassin dead. Thrust back into the world of high-stakes espionage, the two find their secret lives bleeding into the suburban ones as they begin to apply the life-and-death techniques of spycraft to the problems of an ordinary world.
Could be alright. Yeah. Well, I'm not sold on it, but could be okay.
It could be okay. Interesting, one of the producers is Kelly Sue DeConnick, who, if you're familiar with comic books, you'll recognise that name. She's written a lot of comics over the last 5-10 years or whatever. She wrote the big sort of revival of Captain Marvel, the new movie. Looks like it's taken stuff from.
Yeah.
Certainly the costume and all that kind of thing is coming from that. But no, so it could be good. I don't know.
It could. Like it's. I'm not immediately sold on it, but if it has fun with the idea, I think it'd be good. But it could take itself too seriously, and that might be a detriment to it. With the idea of it, like how like applying spycraft to just normal lives, taking that too seriously might harm it.
Well, it mentioned humour, so I don't think it will take it too seriously.
That's right, as long as it has a lot of fun with it.
Besides, if it was serious, it would sound like The Americans.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas this sounds more like they're going for a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing, but on a more long-form basis.
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie, but that doesn't mean the idea itself is bad, so...
I never bothered watching it, but, you know.
Alright, swinging over to ABC, they've got a new show in development called Protect and Serve. Now, this is so topical. This is...
Oh, okay. It sounds really generic from the title.
Oh, no.
It sounds like another cop show.
No, this is very specific, this. So this is from ABC Studios and Kaplan's Capital Entertainment. It is set in the aftermath of a riot in an American city triggered by the shooting of an unarmed man by the police.
Okay.
The police department is dismantled and a newly appointed police chief is tasked with rebuilding from scratch. The task is daunting, but with his unwavering faith in people and the community and a brand new optimistic approach, there is hope.
Okay.
I still don't necessarily think it sounds good, but you know what? I'll say this: they've got balls for doing that specifically right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, I can see why you're doing it, and it's a bold move, but I'm not sure it'll be good entertainment.
It's very, very head on.
Yeah.
Dear. Anyway, let's move over to Amazon, which has ordered Lore, which is going to be an anthology horror series based on a podcast of the same name.
I'll have to check this podcast out.
A TV show based on a podcast. There you go. That said, though, I can totally see Serial being turned into a documentary series at some point.
Yeah.
So I assume this will happen more.
This might be the start of an oncoming barrage.
Hey, maybe one day we'll get a TV show based on us.
I'm sure that'll be extremely interesting.
Yeah. A demented ginger psychopath and the brave Scotsman who tries to talk him down every week. Aye.
That sounds fun.
That's the show. Alright. So Lore, it's being produced by Gaylan Hurd, who produces The Walking Dead, but if you're familiar with her name, you'll know she did The Terminator, she produced Alien, she did a lot of James Cameron movies. You know, in fact, she used to be married to James Cameron, which is why she produced a lot of James Cameron movies. But that's where I know her from originally. Also, Ben Silverman, who produced The Office, and Howard T. Owens, who produced The Biggest Loser, which is a really diverse group of producers there. It's all different. It's all very different types of show. But Lore explores the real-life origins of horror genre staples such as vampires, zombies, werewolves, ghosts, serial killers, and witches. The series has received a 10-episode order, and it's coming in 2017.
I'm down.
Yeah. So it's 10 standalone episodes, and one might be vampires, one might be a werewolf, one might be whatever. So
I'm definitely down for that. Sounds interesting.
yeah. And the weird thing about that though is like we can't even say after one episode, "Oh, this is terrible. We shouldn't do any more," because the next one will be from completely different writer and director. So
yep.
You know.
I hate when that happens.
But that is Lore. 2017, 10 episodes, Amazon. Next up, now we don't talk about this network very often. So it may surprise you when I start this off by saying MTV.
Sorry, what?
MTV is developing Freaks of the Heartland, which is a dark fairy tale drama coming from Dark Horse Entertainment, based on a Dark Horse comic book.
Huh.
I know.
I wasn't even sure MTV still existed.
I know it exists. It's just full of nothing but really terrible reality shows and Scream, the TV show, which was pretty bad.
Oh, I forgot that was them.
Yeah. But yeah, Freaks of the Heartland is set in a rural town America. Sorry. In rural town in America's heartland that was harboured a terrible secret. Jesus Christ, this sentence is really hard to read. Okay, I'm going to start that again, folks. Right, I'm just going to start again. Freaks of the Heartland is set in a rural town in America's heartland that has harboured a terrible secret. Trevor's family had been hiding his deformed brother, and oh my God, what is with this sentence?
I'm not sure if it's you or the way the sentence is written.
It's probably me. I've been messing up all show, but Jesus Christ. Right, I'm just going to reword it as I read this, right? Because it's just going to be easier. So Trevor, right, his family has been hiding their deformed little brother Will in the barn, hidden from the world by their father. When the local sheriff discovers Will and kills their father in the subsequent struggle, the boys go on the run, framed for the murder, and uncover that Will isn't the only one, that freaked children were born in other families in the town, but the sheriff killed many of them years ago. Now he wants to finish the job, and only Trevor stands in his way. Trevor will do whatever it takes to keep his brother and all the other innocent freaks that are still in hiding out of harm's way.
I really want to know how deformed this kid is. I know that maybe shouldn't be my first thing, but I'm thinking it's like, what level of deformity are we talking here? I really have no idea.
Elephant Man style, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Huh?
Just intrigued.
I don't know. Hopefully the show is easier to get through than it was for me to get through that paragraph.
Yeah, that was a real chore for you there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I do think it's partly awkwardly written. I think some of the pronouns and whatever are a little bit off.
Yeah, because I'm sure you said like has instead of had at one point or something like that.
Yeah, there's a couple of run-on sentences that sound like there should be a break. Yeah.
Basically, it's a completely flawed use of no punctuation by the sounds of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. The official synopsis is to blame for that shambles. The show itself sounds interesting enough. I could be into this. It is MTV though, so I don't know if that is something that should be a
like I said, the last thing was Scream, so
yes, and it was exactly everything that I didn't want in a TV show in general, never mind a Scream TV show. So, there you go. Next up, AMC has given a straight-to-series order for Lodge 49, which is being produced by Peter Ocko, Jim Gavin, and, funnily enough, Paul Giamatti is producing this. It's set in Long Beach and created and written by Gavin. That's Jim Gavin, who is one of the producers. It tells the story of a charming deadbeat surfer named Dud. What a name. Surfer named Dud, who joins a fraternal order following the death of his father as he searches for meaning in his life. The show has been given a 10-episode order. I'll be honest, it sounds kind of vague, this one. All that told me is he joins a lodge after the death of his father. That's all that said.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it is still.
Yeah,
what sort of show it'll be.
yeah. What is episode 3 about? What is episode 7 about? I have no idea.
Yeah, I couldn't even begin to guess as to what it would be like.
But AMC have put out some great stuff, so there's no reason not to suspect this has a chance of being good.
No, it does have a chance. I'll give it that.
So yeah, that's that. And last up on the news this week, we got through them fairly quickly, I thought, for the amount that we had. FX has given a series order to Snowfall, and this doesn't even give me like a full-on synopsis. All it says is it's set against the dawn of the crack cocaine epidemic in Los Angeles in 1983, and it's going to be a 10-episode season for 2017. Snowfall.
Cool.
Yeah, not a lot to go on, but
yeah.
it is worth mentioning though that it's coming from John Singleton, who has won Oscars before, so you know it's got
There's some talent there. Yeah.
There's some prestige behind it. But
Yeah.
So that's the week's news. Variety of shows. We had insurance companies for haunted houses and stuff.
And stuff.
I don't know. It's been a weird episode. I'm not going to lie. I've forgotten most of what we talked about.
A lot of it was forgettable, to be fair. There was not particularly memorable shows.
What was Fallon's full name again?
Oh, that's gone now. It lasted like 6 minutes, which is better than most of the others, because I can't remember any of the others. Except Dud. Remember Dud.
It was Fallon Carrington.
Ah, that's it. I know it had a ton at the end.
Fallon Carrington is coming to the CW probably next year. If they pick it up, they've not actually committed to anything yet, but there you go. That, my friends, is this week's news. Let us know what you think of any of that shambles in the comments below. And by all means, tell us how awful we were, because we were pretty awful this episode.
You more than me.
No, you're always awful. This was just me coming down to your standards for a change.
Arguably fair.
Oh dear. Get us on Twitter at @mild_fuzz, and of course check out all the stuff that's been going up. First episode of Westworld, a review of that's up. You can also check out all 13 episodes of Luke Cage was reviewed by us, and all 13 of those are up online, ready to be watched. And there was other stuff too, I'm sure. Frequency, first episode of that's up.
Basically, just go down there-ish. Click on the channel, and they're all there.
Aye, or click on the click on the more information box in the corner to get some handy links to some of the playlists.
I've just discovered I'm really out of practice at pointing at the screen.
Oh god. Oh my god, this news has been absolutely terrible. Apologies folks, you have my deepest commiserations. Thanks for watching guys, and we probably won't see you next time. You're probably never going to come back now. But all the same, thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully see you next time.